Gareth, the Dollop is brought to you by Rocket Money. Did you find any subscriptions you forgot about, or you paid twice and didn't know you did? Did Rocket Money cancel the subscription for you? That was time consuming. You didn't want to deal with it because it's like $1. You're just like, I can't. Rocket Money, it handles all this stuff.
Rocket Money is like a bomb-sniffing dog, but the bombs are unwanted subscriptions. Thank you.
Don't listen to him. What I'm saying is Rocket Money can save you money on subscriptions. It can also negotiate a contract for you like it did for me with my internet. Dropped my internet $300 a year. And I didn't do anything. I just pressed a button on the app.
Yeah,
that's it.
Just hit a button.
Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps lower your bills so that you can grow your savings. With Rocket Money, we have full control of our subscriptions and a clear view of our expenses. We can see all of our subscriptions in one place, and if we see something we don't want, Rocket Money can help us cancel it within a few taps, like I just said. Just a couple of tippity taps. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved a total of 500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all of the app's features.
Dave, I mean, babe, this is big, babe.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of cheddar, baby. That's a lot of cheddar.
I've saved money. Subscriptions canceled. I talked about the internet.
Hackers Radio, weather app you told me to get when I was navigating around a hurricane and I forgot to cancel. That was $8 a week. $8 a week. Like that model is predicated on you forgetting.
My kid had a Roblox subscription for when he was super young, and I had no idea because it was on a credit card I stopped using, and Rocket Money found it and was like, "What are you doing?" And
I remember it was furious at you.
Yeah. So look, it's going to save you money. It's going to save you time. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscription. Stop wasting money on things you don't use. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions by going to rocketmoney.com/dollop. That's rocketmoney.com/dollop. rocketmoney.com/dollop.
Come on, baby.
God, you want to hit a dude?
I'll do one buck.
People say this is funny.
Not Gary Gareth.
Dave, okay.
Someone or something is tickling people.
Is it for fun?
And this is not going to become the Tickling Podcast.
Okay.
You are Queen Fakey of Made Up Town.
All hail Queen Shit of Liesville.
A bunch of religious virgins go to mingle
And do what?
pray.
Hi, Gary.
No.
Nicely done, my friend.
Garrett, we have
Garrett?
Gart. Did I say
you.
Gart?
Now you
Gart.
have.
Yeah. Did I do? Oh, you're listening to the Dollop on the All Things Comedy Network. This is an American history podcast. Each week, I, David Anthony, read a story to human form.
Gareth Reynolds, who has no idea what the topic is going to be about.
Did I lie?
No, but it was demeaning.
I don't know if it was demeaning.
Hey, buddy. First of all, two things. Remember that we were listed in the top 6 history podcasts in New York Times. People can go check that article out. We've always supported the New York Times.
Always supported the Times. We love the New York Times.
And don't forget that you're listening to the Dollop post the 10-year anniversary, and we're the bad boys. So if you're listening to this and you're sort of like, oh boy, this is getting spicier than it used to be. Sorry, we've changed. We're the bad boys.
Yeah, we post 10 years. We're like, let's take off the mask.
We're the bad boys of history.
Bad boys. Yeah. I mean, you could just.
How about this? Sorry, not sorry at all.
I mean, that's our motto, right?
Yeah,
that's our thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Really good stuff. Look, if you guys want to enjoy more of the Dollop, we have now a channel on Apple iTunes situation. And
yes.
You do a $5 subscription, you get more stuff. There's some reverse small-ups. There's some new UK episodes.
So people wanted some more UK episodes, and Apple wanted us to do something, and so we were like, okay. So, yeah. Look, we have a lot of content, but if you're interested in the, we do. And if you're interested in listening to more UK episodes. How do they find us, Dave?
I don't know. Go to the Apple Podcast app.
Yeah, go to Apple Podcast app and just click.
I should have figured that out first. Also, you can listen to ad-free episodes on there.
Yeah.
Just like you can on Patreon. On Patreon, we have different content if you want to watch videos and stuff. It's all over there. Get on board.
Yep. So, yeah. Or you can just listen to the free show and, not get angry at us.
Yeah, you can. If you're mad about that stuff, just listen to the free show.
Just listen to all the free shit.
We got you covered. Everything you get mad at, we kind of have you covered.
So it's called the Dollop Plus. So if you go to your podcast app and you click the Dollop, or you find the Dollop Plus, you can do a free trial on it, and check out some shit. I think you could probably listen to the first UK one for free, something like that.
My understanding was that it's called the Dollop Plus.
All right, this is over. Let's just do the show.
1770,
Whoa.
year of our Lord, J-Town.
Sure.
What do you know about J-Town?
I believe the roots are. I feel like whatever I say isn't going to matter. What do you have him doing now? Jet skiing?
I'm just going to say Jesus rips. That's all. J-Town rips.
Yeah.
And I don't think we need to say anything else because that
I don't think we need to say anything.
Says it all.
I don't think we need to say
J-Town
anything.
rips.
Okay.
He's never not ripped.
Okay. I think
The kids love him.
Okay.
1770, maybe. Actually, nobody knows, really. But around then, Mike Fink was born at Fort Pitt near what is today Pittsburgh.
Okay. Fink and Pitt. Okay.
So I guess Pitt became, they probably started calling it Pitts and then threw a burg on there.
It's weird.
Right?
Doesn't that
seem...
Why was it called Pitt?
I guess there's a pit there.
This doesn't make any sense.
Wouldn't that make sense? There was a pit, some sort of pit, and they built the fort near the pit?
Sure. But
Or
why
maybe
not? Sure.
Maybe some guy just ate a peach and threw it on the ground. I was like, I don't know. Fort Pitt.
I think it's probably better for us to not speculate and just to do what you know. Like, what do you know? Let's start there. So Mike Fink was born in Pittsburgh.
That's a problem.
Okay.
I don't know anything.
That's a huge issue.
So Pitt's Fort Pitt, was on a river.
Okay.
And so growing up, Mike was super into boats. He loved boats. Loved seeing boats. Loved hearing boats. Loved watching boats. He's a boat kid, like you were.
Yep. Big time. Boat boy.
Super fascinated by the dudes who lived and worked on the boats, the boatmen. I wouldn't say lived on, but just were on the boats all the time. The boatmen is what they were called.
Okay.
So Mike grew up as a kid. He was very good with a gun. He's American.
So interesting. Yeah, just interesting little setups.
Uh-huh.
I'm seeing some seeds.
Well, he grew up at a fort, so he's around militia dudes all the time.
Sure.
And there's, obviously they're not getting along well with the Native Americans because we're assholes.
Well, because the Native American, I don't think that's fair. The Native Americans started encroaching on the land that we had taken from them.
Okay, when you frame it like that, I hear you.
Which is rude. Give it to us and then go away. Don't try to come back.
Thank you very much.
Lord.
As a teen, he started working as an Indian scout.
Okay.
It was called.
Sure.
So he would go out on his own for weeks to scout.
What's he scouting? He's just scouting.
Yeah, I think he's scouting.
Where they are?
I think he's I think
it's like
he's
a bushman.
I think bushmen were
bush
more
ranger.
Crime. Yeah, maybe bush ranger. But he's checking it out. He's checking out the lay of the land and seeing what's up.
Sure.
So he'd have to shoot his own animals to survive and live on his own out there, right?
Right. Yeah.
So picking up skills, much like you did in Wisconsin.
Yeah. No, I'm there's a lot of similarities.
Mm-hmm. So he becomes known for being very bold and cunning as a scout.
Okay.
And now back to his love of boats. So he got really good at imitating the sound of boat horns.
There we go.
What?
There we are. There it is.
And he could really do it.
It's like going to like a rave, and that's like when the beat drops. Okay, now we're moving. Now I knew it was coming, and I waited patiently. I heard you kind of. There was some pullback, and then now, boom, we're the Molly's kicking in, and we're really partying.
Yeah, no, it's like when you take acid, and all of a sudden you're like, "Did you see that?"
Yeah. Or how about this? I've had this where I took acid and forgot I took acid. That's a fun phase. Okay, so he could do boat horns.
Yeah, I mean, imagine how long it took to perfect a boat horn.
And that's just like that.
I don't know. I honestly, I think
this is what 1790-ish. So this can't be. It can't be very crazy what they have.
Well, I can't.
Nobody's playing like La Cucaracha or something.
No, there's no La Cucaracha going on. But I think it's more like a horn.
Yeah.
And look, neither one of us have any idea because we're just going off of what we've seen in movies and shit. But it's like a loud, like horn, not like you just did like a ship at sea, like
yeah.
But it's like
but it's more like I think it's Aruga. One of those.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, all right, okay, gotcha.
So he was so good at the horn sound that when he first got work on a keelboat, they didn't need a trumpeter with an instrument because he could do it perfectly.
Okay, so there was the horn was really an actual horn. It's a guy playing a horn. So you just like tie rope to a guy's dick and then yank it, and he'd be like, "Brrr."
No, what?
Yeah,
Hold on.
to sort of replicate the. Go ahead.
Well, I think you've added.
I'll
stuff
take questions now. Go ahead.
Sure, I think you've added stuff that maybe is not there, like you've put on a whole,
like you said, Dave,
part.
Neither one of us are there. It's only what we've seen in movies, and I've seen that trope in 1,000 movies 1,000 times.
Yeah, I mean, I think Disney regretted doing that in all their old films.
Well, I mean,
about
whatever.
the day, but yeah,
didn't age great.
No, didn't. So keelboats hauled cargo, and they were propelled by either pushing poles or pulling on ropes.
It's like I'm saying. By the way, thank you. Validated.
Sometimes the oars were really big, so it's super hard to do. Like they're
right.
the dudes who work on keelboats are just like muscled, like you know they're working out.
They're Daves, they're Gareths. Yeah, right.
Yeah, they're like us, like just chiseled
figures.
Bone, like they like picture J-Town.
Men, yeah, right.
Or Trump.
Oh, I can't do this.
So he loves being on the river. He loves it. It's his ultimate life. He wants to see ports everywhere, especially wants to see New Orleans, where he heard they spoke French and wore Sunday clothes all week long. And he's like, that sounds...
imagine a city full of people in their Sunday clothes. Imagine! I mean, what do they even have? Do they even possess Mondays or Tuesdays? It's just everything's a Sunday outfit. Put on your Sunday's best. Yeah.
Well, I assume he has like one set of clothes. Like that's all.
Well, but it's also it's not fun. It's just weird to imagine. Like Sunday, you dress to the nines. Sunday, you put on a real special little outfit. Show everyone.
I think these people, although I don't know, I don't think he went to church, but I think these people living out here, like they probably had one other set of clothes, a Sunday set, like a nice set. And that,
and they probably wore that to church a lot.
Yeah.
And then so it was probably like, but so these people only have Sunday clothes.
Because they're dressing sweet all
week long. So
this
guy
long.
gets revved up over the boats. Okay. All right.
All right, you get the picture. So sometimes the river got too low for boats. And during those times, Mike stayed in Pittsburgh or close to Pittsburgh.
So down.
So... He killed a lot of squirrels. He was a squirrel killer.
Just
food and whatnot.
Sure.
And probably just fun.
Oh, of course. It's a hobby. Yeah.
He also took part in the Saturday shooting matches, which happened all the time.
So they would just shoot squirrels?
No, they would shoot at a target.
Oh, like a skills competition.
And the prize would be beef.
Yeah, and I understand the prize. I know what we win. Obviously, most prizes at that time were beef purses. So that's not surprising to me. I just was sort of highlighting what is the actual event. Obviously, you get a beef stipend when you have competed well.
You get a slab of meat.
Yeah, you get a couple handfuls of ground chuck, something like that.
You get to dip your hand into the ground beef barrel.
Instead of like shaking champagne all over the place, you're just sort of throwing steaks at each other in the locker room. By the way, is there anything funnier than when a team wins a championship and you're like, these chiseled athletes who these are men champions. Now let us put our goggles on so the champagne doesn't hurt our eyeballs. These gladiators, gridiron, just all they do is sacrifice, but their little eyeballs will burn from the bubbles.
It's so like, I don't think they realize how like sterilized and lame it looks. But
well, it's great when you watch like footage from like the 70s, because guys were just like, they were definitely like, it was like they got tear gassed. They were like, man, we did it. Who said that? And like, that wasn't great. But when they have to put on their like champagne goggles,
it's not good.
It's a little bit of a separator.
So pretty soon, Mike Fink became known as the best shot in the country and got the nickname Bengal. I think maybe
like
Bang
a tiger?
All. I think maybe Bang All.
Bang All.
It's
that's what they called
like
you
Bengal.
in college, right?
Yeah, but not because of the way you
stop talking right now.
think. It's because I carried around a gong.
Oh, okay. All right.
And
a dong gong.
Yeah. Since he was so good, they stopped letting him take part in the shooting contest because he would win every time. So they're just like, okay, so you don't get to do this anymore.
What are you doing with all the beef?
No one's having fun.
Save some beef for the rest of us.
They said he, quote, spoiled to all the fun.
Well, I mean, okay.
But they understood it was unfair what they were doing, kicking him out of the contest. So they let him take the, quote, fifth quarter of the beef, which was
so he got a beef bribe.
Hide in the tallow. Yeah.
So he would just get a beef bribe every time. So he would just show up to just get a basket of his beef.
He would get the wrapping of the cow, the outer
Excuse me, that's
part.
what he would. Are you serious?
The hide in the tallow. Yeah, he would get the wrap. The part that cows used to wrap themselves in.
The skin. Cows. Yeah. It's not like a shawl.
That's what
I'm
cows
a bit chilly. Will you put my flesh over my shoulders?
That's what cows wrap their meat in so that it doesn't go bad.
That is boy, you've just sort of Tyson Foods your way into some weird logic. So he would just get and he's just what? He's just making like things that's leather. He's just leathering it up. He's not eating it.
Okay, so he would then take the hide and the tallow to the saloon and trade it for whiskey, and then he'd treat everyone to shots.
Okay,
especially himself.
Okay, yeah, well, for sure.
So the saloon is getting the hide every week.
Sure, right.
I don't know what they would do with it.
I mean, I tried to noodle that one, but unfortunately, it seems like maybe
maybe
leather.
That's what they kept.
They probably dried it out and fucking, made a.
Go ahead.
I was hoping you'd cut me off quicker.
I want you to go on.
Okay, like so they would probably dry it
aprons.
Let me finish.
Aprons?
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Aprons, hats, shoes,
hats.
Boots,
Sell
you
them?
idiot.
Yeah.
Boots, you fool. Yeah.
What if they use it to rewrap their beef? Because it keeps beef.
It would be weird.
Good. Fresh.
Jesus Christ.
So when the local Native American wars start in the 1790s, Mike's the kind of guy who's going to go out for
By the way, we should have known that we were not going to be a helpful culture when we were having target practice contests for beef.
Yeah.
We should have been like, those are seeds that are going to grow into Hulk Hogan speaking at a political campaign.
Yeah.
Should have been like, it's not great.
Eventually, Hulk Hogan was going to get involved. Everybody knew that.
It's true.
Okay, so when the local Indian Wars ended in the 1790s, Mike was not the kind of guy like a lot of the other scouts. Like, okay, well, I made my money, and now I'm going to settle down and own a farm and domesticate. But he's not that kind of guy.
Sure.
So he ended up going west and got into the boat transport business on the Ohio and or Mississippi rivers. I think he was Ohio first and then Mississippi.
Just driving the boats and just taking them to and fro.
Yeah, basically go on the Great Miami River, which went from Ohio to Fort Laramie, like all that stuff, right? He's transporting goods. And also the Maumee River to Lake Erie.
Maumee River?
Maumee.
Okay, not Mommy.
Mommy. I think Maumee River is better, don't you?
I like the Maumee River.
Yeah, so the Maumee River to Lake Erie. So he's all over the place.
Hey, a lot of mommies take the river to Lake Erie. For those of you only listening, Dave's laughing.
He's working all over for like 20 years. This is what he does now. He's a boatman. He's working all over. He becomes a captain. He's running his own crew. Like we said, working on the keelboat very, very hard. The keelboat on the Western waters, quote, the workers were the wildest and toughest men on the frontier, at first Indian fighters. So they're not just going out on boats. They also have to, the Native Americans are like, no, we're not really into you guys.
Stop coming here.
Yeah. And so they also have to fight.
Enough. You'll poison this land. You'll go down with the ship.
Are you talking to me right now? Or are you talking to...
I'm just talking to everybody. It's just not good.
They were usually very tall, gaunt, and big boned. They were very daring kind of guys and bellicose. They were a type, right? So the boatman was a type that everybody knew.
Right. Yeah.
From the Pittsburgh story of a city, quote, many were pirates and conmen.
Great. I love when those two get together.
Yeah. Boatmen had a specific way of talking, described by Hiram Martin Chittenden as, quote, half horse, half alligator.
What the fuck?
That does not help me at all. I
was hoping the second part would help influence a little bit.
No. Well,
alligator's speech is really...
Maybe you could give it a crack.
I'll tell you a little bit about I think we're going to go out there the other day and find ourselves a bit of a gold coin.
I think that's exactly right.
It's not wrong. Feels okay.
Yeah.
Why don't you ask me a question and I'll answer it as one of these guys.
Okay. So are you headed up to Lake Erie?
I'll go up to Lake Erie and find, gotta get a bunch of that gold coin. We gotta get it.
Yeah.
Why don't you ask me one more question?
How was the weather at Fort Laramie?
The weather didn't do us no favors, but we fought through it.
What is the end part that they do?
I'm adding the alligator part. Because I don't know how to do it.
So Mike was very witty and he really enjoyed doing pranks.
Okay. Boy, what are pranks like back in this day?
Well, I know, right? Other boatmen liked pranks, except I guess the one problem with this is Mike was known to beat up anyone who didn't laugh at one of his jokes.
That's a good follow through. I like that.
He said he told his jokes to be laughed at, and no one should make light of them by not laughing.
Okay, so yeah. Well, that's like some that still permeates today a little bit, where people are like, "Hey, man, come on, I'm allowed to say it." It's like, yeah, it's just not funny.
It's not funny.
It's not funny. That's the issue.
You should work on that one.
Yeah.
So this led to he basically always had a group of like toady dudes laughing at whatever he said, even if it wasn't funny.
Right. Imagine.
Mostly just because they're scared. They don't want to get beaten up. So Mike liked to say, quote, I am a Salt River roarer. I love the winning. And as how I am chock full of fight.
And you just be like, That's great.
Okay, Mike.
That's great.
All right,
Then he
Mike.
just cuts a guy's throat. He's like, got him. You're like, that's hilarious, Mike. Wow. I did not see. Holy crap. That's crazy that he's gone. Look at that. There's egg on that face underneath the pints of blood that are just oozing out of the man. I mean, unbelievable how much a guy bleeds once you cut him right there. I think there's a lot of the main artery. That's arterial bleeding. It's dark. That's that burgundy blood.
It's not.
He
it's
is
not
a
good.
man. Oh man, talk about a change up. Shit, that is funny, man. That is good stuff, Mike. Yep, it's a Smurf.
Yeah, she's a Smurf.
Okay.
She's one of the first Smurfs.
Yeah. Okay.
And so he didn't let anyone talk to her
How chivalrous.
Okay, that's the wrong word. He was described as chivalrous, but he didn't let anyone
Possessive.
talk on the boat. No one could talk to his lady.
Jesus Christ,
It's
man.
like if she
Boy.
sometimes he'd tell her to, when they were at a port or whatever, he'd tell her to walk a distance away and put a tin cup on her head or between her knees, and then he'd shoot it.
Jesus Christ.
What? It's called chivalry, buddy.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't heard the chivalrous part yet. So far, he's like, don't talk to anyone. Now put this soup between your thighs. I'm going to pop it. What the fuck?
Yeah.
That's high stakes.
It's called digging your lady.
Boy, oh boy. I mean, it's still a man's world, but Jesus Christ. Back then, just like, because there's no way you want to,
Do
there's
that?
nobody wants to put a can on their head.
No.
Yeah. All right.
So Mike's about 5'9". He's about 180 pounds. He was said to have a pleasant face, blue eyes, big mouth.
Sure. Boy, I think you just described me.
Yeah. Except he was super tan from the sun because they're out.
Me?
The boatman guys are out in the sun all day long. So they're
Right.
like gnarly tan, like the kind of tan you're like, oh, this isn't healthy.
Yeah. Where someone smiles and you're like, oh boy.
Oh, shit. And then he's pure muscle, like we said. So
Right.
Chittenden, quote, he was a perfect model for a Hercules.
Okay. So
That's
nice.
hot. That's
Yeah.
sexy. We're talking about sexy.
Yeah.
So a lot of accounts say Mike was very hard fighting and hard drinking and a hard-headed like bragger who just lived kind of recklessly. That's his thing.
He sounds
That's pure.
I mean, I guess what you basically did just describe is fully a leather pirate.
Leather pirate. That's right.
He's just
leather river pirate.
A leather river pirate.
An inland river pirate. Inland pirate.
But he's just,
Leather pirate.
it's just like he does everything he wants to do,
Mhm.
and that's kind of the way it is.
That's it. That's the deal.
Yeah, it's just like your base instincts to just be like, I'll drink, I'll fuck, I'll shout, I'll kill, and everyone will love me.
And he wanted his way always, right? So
Yeah.
taverns up and down in every port knew
Yeah.
who Mike was. He was drinking at every one. And then he was happy to fight anybody who disagreed with him. Like if you disagree with him, he's like, all right, well, let's just deal with this with fists like you're supposed to.
Sure.
And so keelboats hit their peak in like 1817.
Did they sink?
And then steamboats. Yeah, then they just start sinking.
Yeah.
And then steamboats come and kind of take over.
Okay.
So when that happened, Mike said the country is getting too civilized.
He's one of those guys. It's like that.
Yeah.
Remember that video where they were like, you can't drink open beers in your car anymore. And people are like, I mean, the government just took everything away from us in one false swoop.
That's exactly it. I mean, the life is better for a guy on a boat because now they don't have to push the boat with oars and poles.
But he liked that.
But he liked that. He's like,
He
that's
liked
how you
that.
do boating.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Because he talked so much and he was so aggressive, Mike was also called the Snapping Turtle.
Okay.
He also later got the nickname the Snag.
Sure. Because he's, I guess, difficult to move.
I think so. He also he started wearing a long red feather in his felt hat.
There it is. There we go.
And so everyone knew who they were dealing with on the boat or on the shore.
He's a
they
buccaneer.
could see him. And then he was like, then pirates won't fuck with us because they'll see it's me and they'll be like, no, I don't want to steal from that guy.
Well, and then what you just do is you get the exact same hat and, you're just like, they all think I'm Fink. Pirates don't do anything.
Yeah, that's true. You could. But I don't think they did that kind of stuff back then. I don't think people
that's
would
why I would have been so great in this era.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, again, I just missed my time.
Yeah, you really did.
You know what I mean?
You could have been Red Feather Guy.
I just could have been awesome.
Yeah.
This would have been it.
Yeah.
Shooting cans off my lady. Hey, put this can between your cans. I'm doing puns and shooting, babe.
They didn't have puns back then. So Mike's two closest friends were William Carpenter and Levi Talbot. And they were all pretty equal fighters and marksmen.
Okay.
And as seemed to go with the job of boatman, they liked to drink, obviously, all three of them.
Yep.
Mike, known for drinking, but said he never got too drunk. Which he bragged about all the time. He bragged about how he could hold his liquor, right? He said he could polish off a gallon of whiskey and still shoot straight.
Jesus Christ.
And still shoot straight.
What the fuck? He's 5'9". And this is whiskey back then. I mean, this is like made in a tub whiskey.
Yeah, it's like hardcore.
Ugh. Yeah. It's like wood grain.
Yeah. A reporter said he drank at least a gallon of, quote, phlegm cutter or anti-phlegmatic, and then said, quote, he must fight something or catch the dry rot.
I unfortunately blacked out after you said phlegm cutter.
Yeah.
Because that's as good as it gets.
The phlegm cutter?
Phlegm cutter.
I mean,
as a liquor.
It is a phlegm. Think about it.
That's what I mean. It's like so. Perfect. It's just very open with what we're going for.
Yes. So Mike and Carpenter, like to put tin cups of whiskey on each other's heads and use them for target practice. So that's what they.
Well, that's how you go through a gallon a day.
They did with each other.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, okay. So they just get drunk and shoot cans off each other's heads.
Yeah.
Cups, I mean, again, usually. There was no Wi-Fi.
They would do this from 70 yards away.
That's quite a distance.
That's very far. So if people, what's a yard compared to a meter? I think it's around the same-ish, right?
Hold on. Let me get my conversion hat on. I want to say 3 meters to a yard. That's what I want to say.
That's what I think. No, but I think it's. Yeah, you might be right because it's 3 feet to a yard, right?
Oh, that might be what I'm thinking of then. People listening right now, just the anger pulsating through their bodies.
Just 1.04 yards. So it's a little bit.
What is a meter or 3 meters?
A meter is just a tiny bit under a yard.
Okay. All right.
So
there you go. So I was wrong.
Simple. So 70 meters away. So they would always shoot the cup successfully, obviously, because or else they'd have a head blown open.
Yeah.
And it's one of their favorite things to do, and it's what they're known for doing. It was said Mike shot a lock of hair off a Native American once.
Okay. Probably. What was he going? He was trying to kill him, probably, right?
I'm assuming the Native American didn't want that.
Yeah. Way to go.
Once while boating on the Mississippi River, Mike saw a sow with 9 pigs on the bank.
Uh-oh.
And he picked up his rifle and said in the standard boatman dialect that he, quote, wanted pig.
I want a pig.
Others asked him, please do not shoot the pig. But he took the shot from about 40 or 50 yards away from the shore.
Uh-huh.
And he shot pig after pig, but just shot off their tails and nothing else.
Okay, so
How do you feel about this?
I
Gareth?
don't know. I'm glad they probably lived. There's no need to do it. But again, I'm in his harem, so I'm just like, oh, that's hilarious. Those tails really bleed, so that's going to be tough for those little babies for sure. But boy, look at those things go. That's hilarious, man. Mike, I'll tell you. Man, you are a cut up. Because when you said you wanted pig, I thought we were going to eat pig, but instead you just kind of mutilated them all for no real reason, which is comedically just such a fun little space to be swimming around in right now. I'll tell you what, I am into what just happened. Hey, if you think I'm upset, I'll say this: I don't think so. Oh, Christ Almighty!
We have fun on the boat.
The little one doesn't look like it's moving the same.
No, he's not.
Hey, sorry, buddy. Get out of the way. We got a punchline. Oh, hell yeah, brothers, hell yeah! It's just nice to be out on the boat with some men who know what a goddamn joke is. Sick of these the woke mob. You know what the woke mob would do if we told them we just shot a bunch of tails off pigs for no good reason?
I wouldn't like that.
They'd light their torches and they'd try to take away our fun. And I just say to them, go back to your little weird dungeon. Go put your model airplanes back together, you little creeps. Because we're men's men.
Yeah.
And we like to have real fun.
Anyway,
and sometimes we're going to shoot little baby cutie piglets' tails off, even though they're cute.
So I went over to the shore and picked up the tails for you.
Good. Yes.
Here's your necklace.
Yes, I'll wear this with great pride. Look at that. Look at how tiny some of these are. These pigs can't be more than 2 weeks old. Probably don't know the world out there, and now they're probably just going to have a little bit of fear instilled in them forever. I'll tell you what will replace that little curly Q is a pint of total fear. Just phobia over men and us, and I'm having a hell of a time. Yeah. Hey, can they still hear us? Hey, fuck you, piggy babies. Yeah. Hell yeah, man.
Oh, it gets better, Gareth. In 1821, he was on the levee in St. Louis when he saw a black kid just standing there staring. And Mike noticed he had a strangely shaped foot.
Oh, no.
His heel stuck out the back so far that it was like he had another foot in back.
Uh-huh.
Quote, "This unshapely form offended Mike's eye and outraged his sense of symmetry."
I love that this guy's like, I'm like aesthetically kind of specific.
I'm really into symmetry.
Hey, man, you got beef coming out of your pocket. I'm kind of a neat freak.
From 30 paces, Mike shot the heel off.
All right. Oh, man, oh, man. Good one. That's awesome. That is awesome because that kid's probably going through hell, and now he's going to have a little bit less of a foot. And you did it because, to be honest, I think it was more of a shadow than anything. But I think it's great that you knocked that out. That is hysterical. That is so good.
The boy dropped to the ground screaming. Murder. Quote, murder.
Yeah, man, oh man. I'll tell you what I'll never unhear. That. that is hysterical that you just shot a kid's foot off. A child.
Well, not the foot. The heel. The foot's still there. He fixed it.
You fixed it. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Back off, Jack. I'm telling you. I'm telling him he fixed it. He fixed it real good. Now, my only wonder is, can he get to a doctor pretty soon to make sure that we sort of bandage it properly and make sure it doesn't get infected the way you fixed it? But I'll tell you what. Here's what's great.
Yeah,
we're going to keep going, and we're probably not going to think much about it, especially me. And that kid will think about that moment for the rest of his life.
Like the pigs.
The pigs. Here I am forgetting about those. What was that, a month ago?
Yeah.
That was hysterical too. I can't wait to see what innocent victim he shoots something off of next.
So Mike, for this, was arrested and indicted and put on trial.
Oh, that's good. That's shocking news.
Instead of walking to court, he ordered his men to put his boat on a wagon and push it through town to the court.
Mm-hmm. 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 Sure. Of course. Yep. Yep.
He said he, quote, felt at home nowhere but in his boat and among his men.
It's becoming strange and sad.
He told
It's
the
like
judge,
a whoopee.
He told the judge that he was just trying to fix the kid's foot so he could wear a proper shoe.
That is like just classic. You've been caught with your hand in the cookie jar bullshit. I cared about the kid.
It's a drunk guy excuse.
I cared about him.
Yeah.
I hope it's better. I performed a medical procedure called shooting.
The judge did not buy this and found him guilty, but he didn't get much of a sentence because he was soon right back on the river.
Okay.
As compensation for what he'd done, Mike sent the slave, quote, a handful of silver to extract the pain from his shortened heel. By the way, I'm pretty sure he sent that to the owner and not the kid specifically.
Well, it's not shocking, but also shocking.
Yeah. At some point on his travels, he did run across Davy Crockett, and they were probably the two most famous guys out there. And so they did have a meeting, but we don't exactly know. I tried to find it, but most people are like, he probably said this to him, and he probably said this back. So no one really knows, but they were both known for being huge braggers.
Yeah,
and,
but Davey had the song. Mike didn't have the song.
Yeah, he did have a song.
The song did it all for Davey. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine being such a good. So what? Davy Crockett he went on the frontier and he was just awesome, and everyone was like, "Man."
No, we'll do one about Davy Crockett, but it's not. It's definitely
we should write a song for Mike.
Yeah.
You better think about what you're trying to do, something like that, maybe.
Well,
Mike Fink.
You kind of ripped off the first one. You ripped off another song. Yeah. William actually placed an ad
in parallel thinking
in the St. Louis Intelligencer on September 17th, 1822, seeking able-bodied men of hardworking spirit to become engaged on the Missouri River fur trade. Quote, to enterprising young men, the subscriber wishes to engage 100 young men to ascend the Missouri River to its source, there to be employed for 1, 2, or 3 years. For particulars, inquire Major Andrew Henry near the lead mines of the county of Washington.
Okay.
So Mike, Talbot, and Carpenter join up with this new company.
Of course.
They're the perfect guys for the job. They're boatmen, they're trappers, they're hunters. Other men in the company included Hugh Glass and Jedediah Smith.
Jesus Christ.
So we've got a Dollop boat, basically.
Wow, a Dollop. So we've got all these guys sharing a project.
Three Dollops in one boat, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. By late October, they traveled to the mouth of the Yellowstone River and built a fort. Now, you call it a fort, but it's probably just a fucking
pillows and
shack.
sort of
yeah. All the while, they're hunting
blankets.
and trapping animals, right, who are just minding their own business out in nature.
Sure.
And making this company rich. They're just making them tons of money. Then a small party breaks off and walks up the Missouri River on foot with instructions to hunt and trap. Fink, Jedediah Smith, and William Carpenter are part of that group. And they get to their destination, which is the mouth of the Muscle Shell River. And they make really crude sort of dwellings, places to live in for the time they're going to be there. Smith, quote, our houses being finished were well prepared for the increasing cold. When the weather had at length become extremely cold and ice strong and firm across the river, we were astonished to see the buffalo come pouring in from all sides into the valley, and particularly the vast bands that came from the north and crossed over to the south side of the ice. We therefore had them in thousands around us, and nothing more required of us than to select and kill the best for our use whenever we might choose.
Sure.
So they're just meat. There's just meat there.
Yep.
Meat and
shooting
hides.
Buffaloes at will.
Yeah. One legend said Fink had 100 rifle balls, and he said he would bring in 100 choice hides and meat that night, and he did.
Wow.
So he went and he killed 100 in a day. It's pretty great.
That's all. Yeah, it's awesome.
That's what nature.
Isn't that? That's what happened, right? I mean, the heights just took out all the buffalo.
Massacred, yeah. Well, and then at some point, just killed them to kill the Native Americans.
Right. Yes, right. Yeah, right.
But
So
the
cool.
Native Americans were
but just so
upset.
cool.
Yeah, it's super cool. But the Native Americans were upset at this
'Cause they're-
time because they would just take the hide and the meat, and they're like,
Yeah,
there's
leave it
tons
all.
of other stuff on
Yeah.
the buffalo that you should take to use. Like you use the whole animal.
Yeah.
So now Mike and Carpenter are roommates. They live in a cave that they carved out of the river embankment. So this is
Sounds
disgusting. Like
really
this is
great.
like these are pig mud people. These are terrible.
This
This is awful. The smell, the everything.
Everything
It's
is
dirt.
just-
It's just guys in dirt.
Muggy. It's wet.
Yeah, it's
dank.
terrible. There's nothing about this that is.
They're not. There's no soap.
No, this
They're
is
working
a bad.
hard.
This is a bad thing.
Just
So they hole up there for the winter, and at some point they have a serious disagreement, and others have to come over and get involved and calm them down. No one knows exactly what they were fighting about, but it sounds like a
remote.
Native American woman was part of it.
oh, okay.
So they're fighting over a lady. Apparently, they're both into her. And Mike did have a kid that was born in Yellowstone, so maybe it was over that woman.
Okay.
Another belief is that it was over a bet, but either way, they aren't getting along in their little mud cave,
Sure.
which is hard to believe because usually in that kind of comfortable situation, you're just getting along.
It's hard to nitpick when you're
Yeah.
doing so well.
Yeah. In the spring, they head back to the fort, and when they get there, they hit the whiskey pretty hard. By the way, a government regulation forbade the use of free alcohol at trading posts on the Missouri River, which caused a lot of disagreement between the men and the commander,
Mm-hmm.
Major Henry. So Mike seemed to be the most upset about the not drinking thing.
I feel I don't want to push him.
Mhm.
Maybe had a little bit of a drinking issue.
I would say this should be called drunk man out west. That's what
Maybe
this should
he
be
was
called.
a little. He liked to get wet.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. The West to him is like the fart chair to my dad.
Wow. Well, let's all take a minute. Let that Fink in.
I got to see if my sister has a picture of him in the chair.
I honestly, I don't even know if I want to know. I don't know if I want to see that. I told you my agent
Yeah.
is obsessed with that.
Yeah. He used to be my agent. Yeah.
He loves it.
Ends
Ends emails with RIP fart chair.
truly one of the only guys in the agency business that I really liked.
TJ Mark Walter is the greatest.
Super good guy.
The
Super good
greatest.
guy. Yeah. The Knoxville Register, quote, one of his freaks was to march with his rifle into the fort and demand a supply of spirits.
I love
So-
the framing of one of his freaks. That feels
Yes.
like a thing. That feels like a TikTok trend. Like, what are you freaks? So he would walk in. So his freak is essentially to get liquor at gunpoint.
Yeah, from the
He's
The
like, I
major
got
in
weird
charge.
quirks.
yeah, one of my quirks, one of my weird things
I like to liquor rob the people above me.
to demand my nephew just sent me a text.
Uh-oh.
Biden dropped out.
No.
Oh, I'm
Did he?
I'm getting a shitload of texts. So yeah, this must have happened.
I am too now.
My sister and Graham Elwood and Katie Helper.
Oh, yeah. We're getting
and Josh Olson. Yeah,
It's Jover.
Jover.
Joey B out.
This is like I was doing a live podcast with Karen Kagarev and Greg Barrett when Osama bin Laden got killed.
Oh, wow.
So it's like that. It's like one of those moments.
Wow.
Well,
yeah,
hard to
Ooh.
believe, but also even harder to believe is that tomorrow he won't remember and we'll keep running for president. so
I really am like, okay, so it's like a breakup. Okay. You've had the breakup conversation.
Yeah.
And now it's a little of like, now what?
Now what? Yeah. Now I'm going to stay out of it. So.
You know a joke I tried out last night?
What's
I
that?
thought of it. I thought of it right before I went on stage, and I was with two buddies, and I told it to them, and they started laughing. I was like, "I'll do that." And I went up there. I said it. It was as silent. I can't remember the last time I got less of a reaction to a joke. I was like, it was legitimately crazy, and I opened with it. Like I did like a quick little thing, but then I like first joke. I was like, "Here's a joke." I was like. Isn't it strange that Trump got shot in the head and Biden went down? It was the most snake eyesiest snake eyes.
That's a good joke.
That's what I thought. And I had like a follow-up thing that I'd said like off the cuff to them too, but I was like, I can't say there's no. You got to get out of here fast.
No, you can't tag when you get silenced. There's no tagging.
Yeah, you're not like, here's a callback.
Although I've seen a lot of people do that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so he likes to go in to the fort and demand booze.
Yep.
So Mike was denied by the majors, so he shot a ball through the cask and then walked up and filled his can from the whiskey coming out of the hole.
Okay, badass.
And other people then lined up behind him and did the same.
Well, because he probably didn't think, he probably like, I should have shot a little higher up. That thing's got fully drained.
Mike was not punished, as it was chalked up to his, quote, queer ways.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's like when you have a fucking amazing, it's like Rodman. You're like, look, it's kind of crazy, but he gets a lot of rebounds. So
yeah, that's right.
Let's let him do some stuff.
Drinking revives the argument between Mike and Carpenter. And once again, others intervene and they agree to let it go. But it's simmering, right?
Yeah,
They're not. Right. So as evidence of the peace, Mike said they should do their old classic, shooting whiskey cups from each other's heads.
I don't know if you should do that when you have a ton of tension with the other guy.
Mike said it would show their trust and the confidence they had in each other.
I don't like that. I'm going to flag this setup now.
Well, who would shoot first was obviously very important.
Yeah, because who's going to kill the other guy?
So to decide that, Mike said they should, quote,
why don't we shoot cans off each other's head to figure out who goes first?
Mike said they should sky a copper. So that's to flip a coin.
Sky, guys, can't. Why did that go away?
I know there are things that should not have gone away, right? Sky a copper is amazing.
For the Super Bowl? All right, we're going to sky a copper.
So Mike won.
Uh-oh.
So he's going to shoot first. And at that point, Carpenter said he thought Mike planned to shoot and kill him because Mike couldn't let anything go. But Carpenter's not about to back down because he had made an agreement, and you don't walk away from an agreement.
No,
so
you hold on to your integrity when you're not alive.
So he just prepares to die instead.
Okay.
He gives his rifle, bullet pouch, powder horn, belt, pistol, and money to Talbot, and then goes to the spot where they're going to do the shooting thing.
Okay.
He filled the cup all the way up with whiskey and put it on his head. And Mike loaded his rifle. And Carpenter then stood there. And Mike was about 60 yards away, and he aims. And he said, quote, that he lowered the gun. And he said, quote, hold your noddle steady. Noddle. It's got to be noodle. It's noddle. It says noddle. Hold your noddle. Maybe I wrote it wrong, but hold your noddle steady, Carpenter, and don't spill the whiskey, as I shall want some presently.
That would make you feel like he's not going to kill him.
Yeah, but if he shoots the cup, there's going to be no whiskey in it.
It's Dave trying to get into the heads of these gentlemen.
Yeah.
A fool's errand.
And then he shot Carpenter in the middle of the forehead.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Mike blew smoke out of the barrel of his gun while looking at the body of Carpenter, and then he said, quote, Carpenter, you have spilled the whiskey. And someone then told him,
Mike, you killed him. He's dead.
Someone that said he was dead. And everyone's pretty upset at this point. Especially by Mike's casual attitude. But Mike apparently says he did not mean to kill him. Quote, "It's all a mistake, for I took as fine a bead on the black spot on the cup as I ever took on a squirrel's eye. How did it happen?"
Well, obviously, it's very clear what he's saying. It is the perfect cover-up.
Yes, you can't. What are you going to do?
What do
They
you
did
mean?
it
Yeah,
all the
he's like,
time.
Yeah. It's a high-risk sport they were involved in.
Yeah. And then he cursed the rifle and the bullet, and then he cursed himself. Everyone's pretty suspicious,
Sure.
obviously, because they had argued, and Mike also never missed.
Mm-hmm.
So,
by the way,
doesn't
that's
matter.
the last time you play that game.
That's
it.
There-
He just put him in the rafters.
there's no law enforcement out there of any kind, right? So, the men had for years been afraid of Mike, so everyone just kind of lets it go.
But you had to, if you were in his posse, you had to go like, oh, whoa, this party just got crazy. Mike, oh my Lord. Well, Carpenter is no more.
No, he's not around.
He is
so
dead as a doornail.
Yeah.
You know what I loved is how you were like, don't spill that whiskey, and then all that blood just oozed out of his head.
Yeah.
Man, oh god damn! Every day with you's a ride. I love it, man.
I know. I'm
You're
pretty
just
great.
you're a wild man.
Sam great. Sam great.
You're great.
Yeah. Funny
And
too,
man,
right? I'm
funny.
Yeah,
Is an understatement.
Yeah.
You are hysterical.
Can I have your money?
Yes, take it all.
Yeah?
And the way
Okay,
that you've
cool.
moved on so quickly from that cold-blooded shit is just, man, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love being around. You're my man.
Yeah.
You're my guy. Every day with you is just a ride that I don't
Can I have your
leave.
shoes?
Yes, taking them
Yeah?
off right now.
Okay,
Have
cool.
one and two.
Mhm.
And that snow is cold, but I don't mind, my man. You
Now,
are
that's
the
your
best.
wife back there, right?
Yes, it is. Yes, Kathy has been a supporter of mine, and I don't
spend
even
the
need
night
to
with her?
Absolutely, Kathy, get over here.
Yeah.
Mike Prima Nocta's you right now. So there you go. Have her, and boy,
And
oh boy.
this is your dog?
Yeah, that's right. That's Lucy. She's a
I don't
sweet
have a
little
dog.
lady. Yeah, well, now you do. You're
Oh,
one dog richer, amigo, and I know
cool.
how you are with animals. So cut her up,
Cool.
eat her, make steaks
Yeah.
out of her, do whatever. You're just a
Yeah.
pleasure. Every minute's a pleasure, if I may be totally honest with you.
Now that's your hand, right?
yeah, I have two of
Yeah.
them. I have one too many, is what I like to say.
Yeah, 'cause
You
I need a
that?
third.
Let's just get the hatchet over here and cut it
Yeah.
right off. I don't know what
Yeah.
the hell you'd do with a hand. I mean, it's not like you could do much
I'm going
with
to put on
that.
a hat. I'm going to put it
Yeah,
on top
well,
of the hat.
that's upsetting to some people. To me,
Mm-hmm.
I say, that's a funny chapeau, my friend.
Thank you.
My life is going to get a lot more complicated.
And then the last thing, I think,
yeah, absolutely.
your tongue.
Yes, you should have it. All I've been doing is licking your ass with it. Why not just
Yep.
put it directly in there, my man?
Go ahead and slice that off.
Okay, well, why don't I'll go tongue, then hand, just
Okay.
so that I'm able to use both to take the tongue out. I'm just thinking a little strategy-wise here. So why don't we make sure that happens in that
There's
order?
the knife. Go ahead.
Yeah, okay, all right. Well, yeah. I
And then the last thing is I'm going to put a bullet in your head, okay?
Bye-bye.
Except the one guy who held on to it pretty tight, the anger, the injustice of it all, was Levi Talbot, who was probably Carpenter's best friend.
Okay.
And he thought Mike had just killed Carpenter.
Sure.
And so he vowed revenge when he got a chance. So a few months later, Mike was on one, just ripped, and he starts bragging that he'd killed Carpenter on purpose and was happy to do it. So Talbot quickly pulled out his pistol, and it was the one Carpenter had given him, and he shot Mike in the heart.
I like the way that he's like, once the opportunity, like, to me, that's just like, once I have a moment to make it look like an accident. He just is like, you said a bunch of shit. Now I'm going to shoot your heart.
Well,
Boys,
I think
you got to be careful.
because there's no legal authorities.
Yes,
then
he's just waiting for the right moment that
the
seems
right
motivated.
moment. Yeah, and that
Right.
does. Then everyone would be like, "Well, he did say he killed
Yeah, right,
Carpenter.
right.
Was happy."
Right.
So I guess it works. Nothing was done to Talbot, just like the same with Mike. No one really had any authority. Most probably didn't want to do anything because it was justice, basically, for what he'd done to Carpenter. And then on top of that, Talbot is also a terrifying person, and no one wanted to be his enemy. 3 months later, Talbot was in the Arikara battle and proved himself to be very cool and a great fighter. And then 10 days after that, he went for a swim in the Teton River and drowned. So he didn't make it through that year either. So they're both dead. So all three guys are dead, basically.
Okay, cool.
Logs from the expedition, quote, Holly Wheeler died from wounds received from a bear. Mike Fink shot Carpenter. Talbot soon shot Fink, and not long after was himself drowned at the Tetons.
Wow.
So that's like in
crazy.
the records of the expedition.
Also.
Mike Fink was called the last of the boatmen, and word of his death then spread in newspapers.
Okay.
There's different versions on how he died, but that seems to be the correct one. Later in 1923, Blackfeet warriors were on the banks of the Missouri River. They had just killed 4 American trappers and were looking for others to kill. And then they came across
1823?
Yes, what did I say, 19?
Yeah.
Sorry, it says 19 here. Yeah.
I just would love to picture 1923
Oh.
like, it's called the Charleston. Hey, whoa, what the hell?
So they're looking for others, and they come across the crudely built Yellowstone Fort, which is abandoned at this time. And they want to fight, but there's no one there.
Okay.
So they start ransacking it. They find nothing inside because they took everything when they left. Outside, they find 2 graves, which they dug up to pillage whatever, clothes, valuables, whatever's inside. And they found the bodies, quote, a putrid state, and left them without further molestation. Within 5 years, Mike's grave was a landmark for travelers to stop and see. And his legend grew as stories were told about him. And as the country expands, he's like this guy that everyone loves to talk about. People also came to believe that Talbot had died while being transported on his way to St. Louis to stand trial when he jumped overboard and drowned. But that's not true.
Oh, okay.
In 1829, the Vermont Aurora wrote, quote, at the court of Charlemagne, he might have been a Roland. With the Crusaders, he would have been the favorite of the Knight of the Lion Hearts. And in our revolution, he would have ranked with the Morgans and Puritans of the day. He was a hero of 100 fights and a leader of 1,000 daring adventures. Often at night when his tired companions slept, he would take an excursion 5 or 6 miles and return before morning, rich in spoil. So after he died, they just came up with shit like that, and he just became like...
It's really interesting. Like, I'm not even trying to be funny in that, like, he was just like a huge asshole.
Yeah. He's a
like
drunken
he's just,
asshole.
Like, he's just a huge dick, and we're all like, man, they don't make him like this anymore.
Right? And they still... Like, if you go and look up it, like his name, whatever, it'll be like, he's this crazy daredevil. And you're like, no, he's a fucking drunken dick.
I just, like, we really do, like, always... like, people are always like trying to be like, man, it just used to be like, you know, a man's man. But it's like, dude, people who like got drunk all the time, like made everyone feel fucking uncomfortable, took whatever the fuck they wanted.
Yeah.
Like, the celebration of individuals like that is it's everywhere. This country's inability to like ever reassess its past and its history, and instead we just are like, man, they were awesome. And then if you like say they're not awesome, then people are like, man, you're such like a woke canceller, whatever. But this guy just sounds like a fucking dick.
Yeah,
it's funny now, but what a horrible human to be around.
Yeah, he was a fucking asshole, but now he's like, what a mountain man.
Just to be able to like, it would just be just for the sake of experiment, to find a way to fund tribes to take America back and just see the transformation in a sort of time-lapsey way, just to be like, wow, that was close. Because instead now we're just like sitting here just like Biden dropped out. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, fuck. Christ.
But this is how a lot of the people who love authoritarian types and whatnot love Trump. Like, this is because this spirit of America.
Yeah, right. I think they even kind of own it. So your point, I think they kind of own and admit the fact that he's just kind of a prick. And again, there are times where that makes you laugh a little bit, you know, but it's certainly not a philosophy to hinge your future to. Right. None of it is.
No, it's bad. It's bad.
It's all horrendous. And, you know, it's just like, oh man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's very, very, very strange what seems to just be bone deep in our culture. Stop it. No more
bone deep again.
No.
That's what makes me wink.
No.
Say it.
No, there's that story in the Howard Zinn book, The People's History, where it's like I don't know if it's the Spaniards or whatever it is, but they like the natives have like a Spaniard just like cuts someone's throat, and like the natives are just like, the fuck?
Yeah.
They're just like, that is so unmotivated. And they're just like, this is how we operate. And they're all like, what, dude? Like, and then like someone else like protests and they like cut their arm off, and they're just like, oh, we're dealing with like some psychotic shit that we've never seen before.
That was Columbus shit. Like, they were fucking just madmen. Like,
and that was all it really was just like, it wasn't like, oh, fantastic explorers. It was just like, oh no, they would just do anything for gold.
Yeah.
And that was just different.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Good times.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think the point is we're trying to say good times, and it seems like a perfect segue to remind people to go to join the Dollop Plus on Apple. Let's all enjoy the ride. There you go. All right.
Yeah.
Well, fun.